Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Noah Padaka.
And I'm AC Hokit. The end of New Mexico's 60-day legislative session provides good news for Doña Ana County. Lawmakers requested $76 million for projects. Most money would go to infrastructure improvement, with some going to food pantries and secondary schools. New Mexico State will be receiving approximately $30 million, $23 million for the agriculture, biomedical, and chemistry facilities. The Doña Ana Community College will receive more than $1 million for a new media building. $670,000 will pay for a renovation of the Student Activity Center. NMSU Athletics will also receive $4 million, which more than half of will be used for improvements for Aggie Memorial Stadium and the football facilities.
Interesting day of weather today, Jackie. Light sprinkles in the Las Cruces area, but what can you tell us?
So Noah, we did have those light sprinkles today. We also had some partly cloudy skies with a temperature of 62 degrees, winds traveling southwest at 8 miles per hour, a humidity at 25%, and a dew point reaching 27 degrees and a barometer reaching 29.95 inches. We also had a high of 69, aboving our average of 72. We had a low of 40, and looking at our record temps, in 1971 we had a record high of 85, and in 2006 we had a record low of 27. We haven't had too much rainfall today, so that keeps our yearly rainfall at 0.57 inches. Now back to the desk for more news.
Thanks, Jackie. The Chavez County Sheriff's Office wants help in finding a missing 1-year-old girl. Paulette Baker was last seen with her biological mother at 3:30 at the Eastern New Mexico Medical Center in Roswell. The mother, Tori Sage Clinton, is believed to be driving a brown Jeep Wrangler. The little girl is 2 feet tall, 40 pounds, with brown hair and reddish brown hair, and she was last seen wearing a white blouse with flowers, white pants, and blue Croc sandals. If you have any information, you can contact Chavez County Sheriff's Office or dial 911. And the Bureau of Indian Affairs in Mescaleto, is looking for a 22-year-old woman who's been missing for 4 days. Cassidy Chino was last seen wearing all black on March 19th at her residence. She's 5'4", weighs 210 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. Her method of travel and destination is not known tonight. Anyone with information on her whereabouts is asked to contact the Bureau of Indian Affairs in Mescaleto at 575-464-4479. And a woman who barged into then Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi's office amid the Capitol riot has been sentenced to 3 years in prison. 24-year-old Riley Williams of Pennsylvania is convicted of impeding an officer, civil disorder, and disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds. She's also accused of directing the mob to push against police during the Capitol attack. Her attorneys argued she was just following orders, and they also argued she didn't know Congress was certifying the election results that day, or even if she was in the Capitol building.
Stay tuned. Jackie will be back with your national weather forecast.
Welcome to Poet. Today we're at Dunluce Castle in Northern Ireland. We're at the Queen's Parade celebrating Mardi Gras.
Friday at 2 on KRWG-Public Media.
I'm Eric Johnson, host of Garden Smart. Each week we travel the country north to south, east to west, exploring some of the most exciting gardens, as well as talking to industry horticulturalists about design principles, new plants, and also how you can be more successful with your home garden.
Saturday at 2:30 p.m. on KRWG Public Media.
Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Thursday,
where news matters. The Muslim holy month of Ramadan started yesterday at sundown. It's the time Muslims believe God gave the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad. Devout Muslims do not eat or drink anything during daylight hours during Ramadan. On Saturday, the NMSU Muslim Student Association will hold its iftar, dinner, to break the fast for the day.
We're going to have invited guests who are going to come and talk to us about Ramadan, the event, what significance it holds, and then afterwards we would go outside together to the park where we would have the dinner together, and then we'll observe the prayers.
The public is invited. It will last from 6 p.m. till 9 p.m. in Preciado Park this Saturday.
And Jackie, there's a lot of crazy weather going around the country. What can you tell us?
Well, Noah, for your national forecast, we are going to be taking a look at those severe storm and flood threats. All of those are going to consist of strong tornadoes, damaging winds, hail, and flash flooding. Now, moving on to my next map, as you can see, most of this action is mainly going to happen from Texas and Oklahoma. So for Fort Smith, Oklahoma City, Dallas, Abilene, and San Angelo, and Del Rio, you want to make sure that you're on the lookout for that hail and watch out and make you want to park your cars in your garages. Moving on to my next map, the possibility of a tornado is not completely off the table. We're also seeing some possible thunderstorm forecast over here, and these storms may or may not also move towards the Mississippi Valley. So for Memphis, Jackson, and Little Rock, make sure that you're looking out for those thunderstorms. And not only that, you may want to keep your eyes on the lookout for Friday night, because that is when the peak of these storms are going to take place and travel on through Saturday. Now, following all of this crazy madness, forecast is going to be following with some rain. Now it's time to take a look at your national temperatures. So for Boise and Denver, we're going to be reaching about 29 degrees. For Kansas City, we're going to be reaching 36 degrees, Chicago at 35, and Detroit at 32. And that is all for your national forecast, and I'll be back with your local temperatures.
My name is Sean Diedeker, and I'm a painter. I've always designed my paintings based on travel and chance. I look to find beauty in true, unscripted reality, then document that experience with paint.
Join me as I canvas the world to explore the interplay between art and the human condition. Every episode of Place, every episode of painting.
Friday at 2:30 p.m. on KRWG.
Now I have some bread there for you just to help sop up some of that beautiful sauce.
Join us for another tasty season of Cook's Country.
I want to dive in.
Bridget, Julia, and the whole gang are back with all new tastings, testings, and recipes.
From Cook's Country, a magnificent recipe for banana pudding pie. The almighty Wisconsin butter burgers. Brian.
Think what I'm thinking?
Sunday at 4 p.m. on KRWG-Public Media.
And we're back with your local temperatures. We should see Farmington reaching about 46 degrees, Santa Fe reaching 37 degrees, Gallup hitting 44, and Albuquerque hitting 49. Moving into lower part of New Mexico, we have Roswell hitting 75 and Ruidoso hitting 45. Las Cruces at 64 and Deming at 63 degrees. Looking at tomorrow's temperatures, things are going to cool down just by 1 or 2 degrees. We have Farmington now hitting 44, Santa Fe hitting 40, Albuquerque getting down to 48, and we have Roswell getting down to 65, Ruidoso at 43, Las Cruces at 63, and Deming at 58 degrees. Now it's time to take a look at Alamogordo. We have a low of 37 with a high of 58. And moving on to Tier C, we have a low of 36 with some clear skies and with a high of 59. Moving on to Silver City, we have a low of 30 with some clear skies also with a high of 50. And over here in the city of Cruces, we have a low of 40 and tomorrow a high of 63 with some wind. Now I'll be back later in the show with your 5-day.
Thanks, Jackie. World Athletics has announced today that they lifted the 8-year-long doping ban on Russian athletes, but they are still unable to compete in international competition because of the war in Ukraine.
The Council agreed to the reinstatement of the Russian Federation, RUSAF, following 7 years of suspension. And that, of course, was due to the egregious institutional doping violations. However, athletes, officials, and supporting personnel from Russia and Belarus are still excluded from competition for the foreseeable future due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
And Jose Munoz is next with a look at sports.
Thanks, Noah. Coming up in sports, an NMSU softball team looks to go on a winning streak this weekend. You could toss that remote because News22 Sports is next.
Need to mix.
Each person experiences it differently.
Hey guys, dive in.
Artists, musicians, and people in the theater and documentary filmmakers.
This is so rich. Exploring something that's unknown.
And it will have a societal impact.
That's perfect.
This place is home.
It's a great feeling.
How do we deliver that experience?
Now is the best time.
I'm Samantha Brown. For 20 years, I've been traveling the world. And the biggest lesson I've learned is that every destination, from a big city to a small village, has a soul. And there is an effort that goes into cultivating that soul, and that effort comes from the people. This is why I have a love of travel. And why these are my places to love.
Saturday at 8 p.m. on KRWG Public Media.
This is KRWG-TV News 22 Sports.
Welcome back. I'm Jose Munoz, and let's talk sports. The NMSU softball team ends their 4-game losing streak, with 4 more road games left in the season, left to play against Utah Tech and in-state rival UNM. NMSU this past weekend defeated Utah Valley 7-4 to end their losing streak on the final day matchup. The Aggies have a doubleheader Friday against Utah Tech starting at 2 p.m. and at 4:30 p.m. with the final matchup on Saturday at 12 p.m. The conclusion of their long road trip ends on Tuesday against UNM at 3 p.m. The NMSU baseball team looks to create a winning streak on their upcoming 3-game homestand this weekend. NMSU's recent 2-0 win over I-25 rival UNM Lobos gave the Aggies their first shutout of the season. The Aggies are at home for their next 3 games against UTRGV, starting tomorrow at 6 p.m., Saturday at 2 p.m., and ending Sunday afternoon. You can catch the action on the WAC Digital Network and 91.5 FM Crux. The NMSU men's tennis continues on the road after a tough weekend in the ASU tournament. The Aggies played matches against UNLV, Nevada, and in-state rival UNM in an 8-team tournament hosted in Tempe, Arizona. The Aggies unfortunately lost all matches 4-0, leading to a 4-game losing streak. This weekend, the Aggies are in Tucson to face off against 19th-ranked Arizona, and we will be back home March 31st to host Seattle University. The NMSU women's tennis team looks to extend their 2-game winning streak this weekend on the road. The Aggies recently defeated Utah Tech 7-0 and Seattle University 5-2, bringing their record to 8-7. On Friday, they hit the road to play 10-win UT Arlington at noon, and on Sunday, take a trip to Edinburgh, Texas to face off against UTRGV at 9 a.m. The Aggies look to stay undefeated in conference play and hand UT Arlington their first loss in the WAC conference. And that's all for sports tonight. Join us for more sports action next week. Still ahead on News 22, Jackie will be back with your look at your 5-day forecast.
Midwestern flair meets mouth-watering flavor.
Welcome to St. Louis, where the music is blue and the barbecue is always red hot.
Join Stephen Reichland for bold new dishes and big-name guests.
Don't miss an all-new season of Project Fire.
Saturday at 3 p.m. on KRWG.
They're focused on a purpose and making an impact.
I know who I am, and I don't back down.
Meet these innovators and visionaries at their favorite restaurants.
Thank you for doing this.
Oh, thanks for having me.
This is going to be a blast.
To dine for with Kate Sullivan.
Friday at 2:30 on KRWG Public Media.
The This Old House crew teams up with a brand new builder.
Say hello to Alejandro. He's going to be our contractor on this site.
As he tackles this 1890s Victorian. With the help of the A-Team, Alejandro can make this family smile again. Watch the new project on This Old House.
Saturday at 1 p.m. on KRWG Public Media.
Let's take a look at our top stories. The Chavez County Sheriff's Office needs help locating a missing 1-year-old child. Paulette Baker was last seen with her mother Thursday morning.
And hopefully this weekend, Jackie, you can walk that new pet of yours. Maybe you can, even go out for a stroll with that new dog. What can you tell us about that 5-day forecast?
Yes, of course. No, it's actually looking really good this weekend, with the exception of Friday. That's going to be a little windy with a high of 63 and a low of 36. This weekend and Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be seeing partly sunny skies, and that's perfect weather to go ahead and walk your new little puppy. On Saturday, we have a high of 68 and a low of 36. On Sunday, we have a high of 68 as well and a low of 39. Monday, we're seeing sunny skies with a high of 72 and a low of 45. And Tuesday, we're seeing some sunny skies also with a high of 76 and a low of 44. That's all for your 5-day.
Maybe we can go on a dog walk. That would be cool. And that's all for News 22 Thursday. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Tune in tomorrow, not tomorrow, next week for more news. I'm Noah Padaka.
And I'm AC Hokit. And from the whole News 22 team, Noah, Jackie, Jose, and myself, good night.
This news brief en español is brought to you by Noticias 22, Spanish language news for southern New Mexico and West Texas. Noticias 22.
Muy buenas tardes, les saluda Andrea Vázquez con las breves de Noticias 22. La oficina del sheriff del condado de Chávez pide ayuda para encontrar a una niña desaparecida de 1 año. Paulette Baker fue vista por última vez en Roswell, en el este de Nuevo México, con su madre biológica a las 3:30 en el centro médico. Se cree que la madre, Tori Sage Clinton, conducía un Jeep Wrangler café. La niña mide 2 pies, pesa 40 libras, tiene ojos cafés y pelo castaño rojizo. Fue vista por última vez vistiendo una blusa blanca con flores, pantalones blancos y sandalias azules de la marca Crocs. El mes sagrado musulmán de Ramadán comenzó ayer al atardecer. Los musulmanes devotos no comen ni beben nada durante las horas de luz del Ramadán. El sábado, la Asociación de Estudiantes Musulmanes de NMSU celebrará su iftar, cena, para romper el ayuno del día. El público está invitado, durará desde las 6 p.m. hasta las 9 p.m. en el Parque Preciado este sábado. Gracias por acompañarnos, no olviden seguirnos en nuestras redes sociales. Que pasen linda noche.